Good afternoon to you all, my dear students, all my respected teacher friends, revered participants, stakeholders, educational officers, all my well-wishers. I am thankful to my technical support hands, thankful to all concerned writers and publishers as well as researchers. Friends, we had one class on 13th of August and we discussed in our last class about the National Policy and Education 1986. And in the end of the class, I told you or I helped you know about the, basic parameters or the prime parameters of the National Policy and Education 2020. Friends, this class is particularly for the students of higher secondary second year. And this class is being conducted, or today, I am talking to you on this special day of 74th Independence Day of India. And that's why before the class I wish Happy Independence Day and salute to all the great warriors for whom we got independence. We also pay homage to all those who sacrificed their lives for the sovereignty of the country and for the safety of lives of the citizens, and who are still fighting for the total transformation, safety and welfare of our nation. So friends, saluting to all, we are to start our class today because we are to make our country a great one. And today's discussion will be on distance education, which you are to study. Because distance education, this is special importance, and this concept is included in your second chapter, that is two chapters have been clubbed here. Let us go back to the next slide. Now let us see the term distance first of all, because distance and education, two terms have been clubbed here. So by understanding the two terms so much well, we can understand the concept of distance education. Distance is originated from Latin term distantia. If it is asked to write in examination the origin of the term distance, then you are to write that it is Latin origin. Distantia is the Latin term. Distance's dictionary has given the meaning of the term is the length of the space between 2 points. Distance, length of 2 points. In other sense, it means a far off point or place. Far off. Now you are in distance place. I am continuing my class from my domestic educational laboratory, but you are not here. You are suppose somewhere else. It means you are 200, 300 miles or kilometers away from me. Means you are staying there, I am staying here, still we are keeping contact. Distance education very simply means, if you are to write what is distance education very simply means education which is offered or received from far off point or place. Distance education in its simple meaning is a process where physical separation of the teacher and students distinguishes it from face-to-face teaching and learning. Here is distance education, there is physical separation. Physically the teacher as well as the students do not remain present. The teacher remains somewhere else and students remain present in distant places, and still they continue their education. So distance education means it's a process of education which is offered or received or imparted from far off point or place. Let us go back to the next slide. In other words, distance education is broadcasting and telecasting like television, like radio, based modern means of non-formal education. It is not formal, no time limit. You need to go to school or institution. No fixed time, there is no routine at all. You see, in distance education, students do not normally remain present in face-to-face contact with the teacher or the educator. You are not now sitting before me. You are sitting at your own residence, and whenever you will get time, you will see the YouTube class or you will witness the YouTube class and you will learn. There is no concern or question of sitting face to face. they almost remain free, means teachers and students remain free from all formal bindings, means there is no classroom, there is no class routine, there is no you needing to go that your college will, your first class will start at 9:30 or 9:45 or at 9, like this, there is no formality. So friends, bindings and paraphernalia means equipments or things. No paraphernalia is there. However, the process of education continuously flows from teacher to learners. Still, this is 62 number YouTube class which I have taken and you are witnessing. So friends, I do not know where you are, who you are, what is your facial appearance. Simply I know how you are responding and how you are, whether you are witnessing or whether you are getting benefit or not from my classes. So in distance learning, there is no face-to-face sitting arrangement. The teacher as well as the students do not remain present in face-to-face situation or environment. The term distance education covers the various forms of study at all levels which are not under the continuous immediate supervision of tutors present with their students in lecture rooms or on the same premises, but who nevertheless benefit from the planning, guidance and tuition of a tutorial organization. This is the definition of Humbert, which was forwarded in 1977. So once you are to write the definition, then you are to write these words. Let us go back to the next slide. MP Bose University Act. This is the MP Bose University Act. If you study, you will find that has defined distance education as distance education system means the system of imparting education, giving education through any means of communication such as broadcasting, telecasting, audio visual means you are listening to me at the same time. All the slides have been witnessed by you, which are being transmitted to you with the help of this overhead projector, audio methods, correspondence courses, seminars, contact programs or classes or combination of any two or more of such means. Now the concept of webinar has come, and the participating in webinar, you are getting the chance to listen to different, experts of the global social order. Let us go back to the next one. In a comprehensive article on defining distance education, Keegan, he is a special expert, accepts Humbert's declaration and concludes that the main aims of distance education are, if you are to write in your examination, what is distance education? Write any 4 aims of distance education, then you are to write all these. The separation of teacher and learner. Separation, you are staying, you are enjoying television at the same time you are witnessing the class, which distinguishes it from face-to-face learning. No face-to-face learning situation is here. The influence of an educational organization, which distinguishes it from private study. It is a private type study. You need not go to any educational institution. The use of technology media, this is, we are taking the help of the overhead projector, the board, as well as the mobile phone, the computer, other technological, technological means as well as assets have been used here. Usually print to unite the teacher and the learner and to carry the educational content. So how I am carrying the educational content to you? With the help of the overhead projector, with the mobile handset, as well as the computer, with the help of the slides. So this is called distance education. Number 4, the provision of a two-way communication so that the student may benefit from or even initiate dialogue. Even you can speak. There is such provision is there. You can two-way, means you can exchange your views. I am always saying that if you have any question, you please write to my mail ID, that is msharma.tihu@gmail.com, or you please keep contact with my WhatsApp number. So with the help of the technological means and mediums, we can exchange our views, we can put question, we can get answer. The possibility of occasional meetings for both active and socialization purposes. There is possibility we can meet. Suppose Zoom meeting is there or webinar is there. Such kind of meeting arrangement can be made here in distance education. Now we are to know about Open University also, because you are to write about Open University. The Open University system is one of the important means of distance education. If it is asked to write in your examination, you please mention any one of the important means of distance education. Any one important means of distance education you please write or mention, then you are to write Open University system. In India, this system was started first in Delhi in 1962. When it was started in India, you are to go back to, if you are to know the detailed history, then you are to go back to, the United Kingdom, where from this concept was first developed. But we needn't go to history because this is a technical class, technological class. So time is very much limited. I will not discuss so much. You need not to study much more. Simply you are to know that in India the process has been started in 1962, and it is Delhi University which initiated the process by starting BA and MA courses. As the means of distance education, the Open University system gradually started to grow after 1962. Since 1962 till today, the process has been going on, and we have now many Open Universities in our country. We have 14 Open Universities, 13 state Open Universities in India, 1 national Open University, that is IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open University. So we have now 14 Open Universities, 13 in state levels and 1 in national as well as international level. The names given below help us to understand the importance of the process of growth of such universities. Means we are mentioning some of the names of Open Universities here. Out of the 14, let us see some of the names. This is the system started first in Delhi University, Andhra Pradesh Open University, 1982. 14 program they started. Indira Gandhi National Open University, when it was established, I have already mentioned that in presently we do have 14 Open Universities are there in our country, and 13 out of the 14 there are 13 state Open Universities and 1 national level university, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University. If it is asked to write about the full form of IGNOU, IGNOU, then you are to write in your examination as Indira Gandhi National Open University. If it is asked to write when IGNOU was established, then you are to write in 1985. Then Nalanda Open University, Gujarat Open University, Karnataka Open University. Let us go back to the MP Bose Open University, Yashwant Rao Savan Maharashtra Open University, Kota Open University, Uttar Pradesh Open University, West Bengal Open University, Assam Open University, that is Krishnakant K.K. Hendricks State Open University. Krishnakant Hendricks State Open University is it is the only state Open University of Assam. Out of the 13, this is one of the most important universities. Thus, the process of establishing open schools and universities as the means of distance education has got special attention from all corners of our societies. Just after 1962, the process has been getting much more rapidly. It has been advancing. It is going on, and up till now we do have 14 Open Universities. Out of the 14, 13 state Open Universities, 1 national level Open University, that is Indira Gandhi National Open University, which was established in 1985. Let us go back to the next one. Now let us know the objectives of the Open Universities. The objectives of the Open Universities as the means of distance education may be made clear by the following observations of Professor G. Ramareddy. Let us see the statement of G. Ramareddy, and by understanding the statement of Professor G. Ramareddy, we will understand the definite concept of or the objectives of Open Universities. Education from a distance, that is the article published in the journal Education, volume number 66, number 3, March 1986. as A.S. Kumar and Associate Publication, Professor Reddy writes, this is about the origin. The objectives of an open university are to provide greater equality of opportunity of access to higher education, to provide educational opportunities for those who miss such opportunities when they were young, and joined, let us go back, careers to provide opportunities to those adults who would like to have access of higher education throughout their lives, and to help those who want to learn new subjects or renew or update their knowledge while in service. This is the broad concept, and by understanding this concept we can understand the basic objectives of open universities as the means of distance education. Other educationists and experts have explained the objectives of the distance mode of education as given below. Here in this respect, they have made two broad categories, that is, practical perspective and wider perspective. In practical perspective, the objectives that are included are: number one, coverage of openness. Coverage of openness. To educate people irrespective of age, sex, caste, creed, rank or position. There is no age difference. At the age of 60 also you can continue your study. There is no sex difference. There is no caste difference. Coverage of remote areas. People living in interior regions or villages. People living in interior regions or villages. You are staying there in Kashmir, and from Guwahati you can continue your education. Coverage of working class, already employed but want to continue higher education. You see, continuing your service in bank sector, suppose, and staying in Delhi, still you can have the chance to continue your higher education for the satisfaction of the aspiration of higher education of yourself. Coverage of economically weaker sectors, to those people who were economically poor and had to go for employment with higher education. Suppose after the completion of your BA undergraduation or higher secondary education, you became bound to join any service for the management of your economic problem, and that's why formally you could not continue your higher education. Then to now, with the help of distance education, open universities, you can continue your study. Coverage of dropouts, people who left education because they failed to pass degree examinations, they also can continue their study in distance means in these open universities. In wider perspective, the objectives that are included. These are wider perspective, narrow and wider. To arouse interest in various economic disciplines. To awaken and sustain educational consciousness in people. To broaden the entire spectrum of education in modern perspective. To prepare people for modern scientific scenario. To enable people to keep pace with the changing educational perspective. To enlighten people about different facts of knowledge. Let us go back to the next slide. To create an educational environment in the society, means now in the National Policy on Education 2020, there is, concerning to 5 parameters I told you, access, means there should be access, entry, you see, provision should be there for all, equity should be, justice should be there. So these can be practicalized with the help of the open universities. To generate new ideas in areas of education, to enrich academically, socially and ethically a human personality, to expand the bounds of human knowledge in all directions, to explore and manifest those potentials already present in man. Let us go back to the next one. To explain the objectives of distance education, the view of the Director General, this is former Director General of the UNESCO, means United Nations Educational, Scientific and Cultural Organization, has special significance. What he said? In the view of Mr. M. Bow, in the view of Mr. M. Bow, educators are on the lookout for alternative models which could reduce the physical, social, and psychological distance which separate knowledge and the learner. In particular, have turned their attention to the possibility of using communication media to expand education in both space and time and to diversify its objectives, content, and form. This is very much important. Let us go back to the next slide. The major objectives of the distance education programs are as follows. If it is asked to write about the major objectives of educational programs of distance education or open universities, then you are to write all these. To provide an alternative method of education to enable a large number of persons to acquire knowledge and improve the professional competence. Number 2, to impart education at the individual's convenience and to help the individuals utilize their leisure for educational purposes. Let us go back to the next one. Now let us see, distance education is specifically meant for the groups of people given below. Means for whom? Who can take the help of distance education? Who can go to the open universities for the satisfaction of the aspiration of higher education? These are the groups. For the dropouts, they can enter, they can get admission. For the employed persons, they can get admission. For the handicapped people, they can get admission. For those who are living in remote areas, suppose somewhere else, in Saudi you are living there, you can get admission. For those who are over age people, means there is no age barrier. For the poorly off persons who are not economically sound, they can also get admission. Let us go back. For the underprivileged who do not have much more privilege, for the continuation of their higher education in different formal educational institutions, they can, in less expense and cost, they can continue their study. For the women, especially for the housewives. So who are there as who are women who are housewife, they can also avail the opportunity of higher education for the satisfaction of the aspiration of their own aspiration for higher education. Distance education is specially for the spread of education. There is higher education among the masses. Again, it is for the intellectual reorientation of knowledge and professional refresher courses for those who are deprived of the facilities of higher education in usual period of life. Friends, those people who couldn't have or avail the opportunity of higher education in proper time of life because of many hurdles or many problems, they can, with the help of going to this open universities, satisfy their aspiration of higher education. So friends, this much for today. And for the students of higher secondary second year, this part has special importance because distance education you are to understand, or in your examination many questions you will get, and this part has been linked in your chapter number 2, that is development of secondary education in Assam, and here this one is very much important. Thank you so much for today, and the other part I will discuss in my next class. Prepare well, remain in isolation, continue your study. Thank you so much.